Hi, and welcome to your yin yoga and breathwork practice. I'm super excited to bring you this practice because it will just help you to feel completely relaxed in your body and in your mind. And if you just allow yourself to go with it, to move gently, and to be really curious, you'll actually start to find a deeper appreciation for your body. So let's begin by sitting just in an easy posture. So this may not be actually easy for you. This is how I like to sit with my ankles stacked in front of each other. Perhaps you would like to sit in a half lotus. If you want to sit in a full lotus, more power to you. I'm not going to demonstrate because I can't do a full lotus. But maybe you'd also like to just sit like you're in school. Yeah? So just find that comfortable, easy position. Now, I have asked, and I'm not sure if you've already grabbed it, but just two rolled up towels. I've just got two like this. They're quite big, and I've just rolled them nice and tightly. And I'm going to keep them handy on either side of my mat so that if I do need them, no matter what side I'm on, I can grab them easy enough. All right. This is Alfred. You'll probably hear or see him throughout. He's kind of like my mascot. um, Animals love to be around if you're doing yoga and meditation practice, so always invite them around. Let me begin by saying with a yin yoga class, we never want to push through pain and we want to remain curious rather than judgmental. So you can see me on the screen, I can't see you. And so I want to make sure that you never push through pain. If you feel pain, I want you to stop. I want you to pull back. And I want you to notice what the thoughts are that's going through your mind. Never ever judge anything in a yoga class. Always be curious. So if you see me in a particular shape and you think, oh, it's curious, I wonder how she's gotten into that pose. Or, oh, my body's doing something slightly different to Belle's. I wonder how I feel in this pose. That's how we want to kind of stay. And yoga in this way can really help to set us up for daily life. When we have a mindset of curiosity rather than comparison or judgment, actually life becomes a little more pleasant. So, with that in mind, you right, mate? With that in mind, let us begin by quieting down and starting to breathe a little more deeply. So roll the shoulders back and down. And I want you to lengthen your spine all the way to crown of head. In fact, I want you to imagine that there's a silver cord attached to the very top of your crown of head. And I want you to imagine that it's pulling you up just that little bit taller. Now, as your shoulders are back and down and you're lifting the sternum, the center of the chest, up a little higher, I don't want you to be arching your back too much. So I want you to draw up through the pelvic floor and engage the navel. Just pull that back just a little bit. And now with your chin, drop it down ever so slightly, not down to look down at the ground, but just drop the chin slightly and draw it back. So almost like you're creating a double chin. Turn the palms to face over, open. And when we have the palms facing upwards, it's a mindset shift. We're opening to receive. I sometimes prefer to have my hands with the palms face down. Again, mindset shift, dropping inward. So with your eyes lowered or closed, I'd like you just to think and feel, which way do my hands want to go at this time? What do you need? Where do you need to be? Turn the hands over a few times until you settle and you find one that feels better. There is no right or wrong here. You might find that in the mornings you prefer to be open to receive. In the evenings you might want to power down a little bit, close down, come inward. Or it could be the exact opposite and it could be something different every single time you practice. So keep that in mind. There is no right or wrong. It's just about how you feel on a particular day. All right. How is that posture setting feeling? Have you started to slump? Have you started to get sore and tired? Let's cross our legs the other way. So it's like I've forgotten. So whatever leg was in front, other one now. So this is, you're going to be your non-dominant seated position. And you'll notice that I did a little bit of a wriggle. I wriggled forward and I allowed my hips to be upright. You might like to pull the fleshy parts of the bottom away and behind so that you can sit more fully in that upright position. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lengthen all the way to crown of head. Again, imagine that silver cord pulling you up a little taller. Let the sternum lift. Don't arch the back. Zip up from pelvic floor all the way to the navel. Good. Hands in whatever position works for you. And we're going to go into our breathing practice now. So lower the gaze if you want to, or close the eyes, or you can keep looking towards the screen, whatever is most easy for you to access at this point. Take a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Breathe out, sigh. Good, we're activating the heart space. Breathing in. Breathing out. Letting it go. One more time, good. Breathing in. Letting it go. Good, hands on the belly. Push the belly out as you breathe in. Breathe in, belly expands. Breathe out, suck the belly button back. Good, breathing in, belly expands. Breathing out, suck the belly back. 2 more times, breathing in, belly expand, push the hands out. Breathing out, suck the belly button back to center. So we're actively moving the belly. Good, one more time, breathing in, expand. Breathing out, suck the belly button back to center. Good. I want you to relax your hands, relax the shoulders. Now we're going to see if we can move the belly in and out just a few times. Feel free to have your hand on your belly if you need to. It'll look like this might be easier to see with my hand on my belly. Breathing in, breathing out, suck it back. Breathing in, breathing out, suck it back. Keep going, in and out. Good, in and out. Keep going, in and out. Now, as I talk, you keep going. Keep that movement in the belly. This is challenging, yeah? And what I want you to understand is that if you're breathing into the upper chest, if this is moving the whole time, right? You want to drop down into the belly. Just a few more times. Good, keep going, a few more times. And when you're ready, just come to stillness. Your diaphragm sits like an upside down U under the rib cage. As you breathe in and push the belly out slightly, the diaphragm, which is muscular tissue, it actually flattens, yeah? So when you breathe out and you suck the belly back in, it actually goes back up into that upside down U shape. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, we want that movement of the diaphragm. Why? Because when the diaphragm flattens, you can draw a larger breath. It opens up the rib cage. It allows the lungs to open to full capacity. Quite often we don't take a full breath. As you breathe out and you draw the navel back to the center, it's pushing the air up. We're getting rid of that dead air, the air that's in the dead space of the lungs, quite often right at the top and right at the bottom. So as you get better at this practice, and we're going to move on to our back and do it there, it's a lot easier, I promise you, you'll actually be starting to get more oxygen in, and you may even notice that you're getting a little dizzy. If that's happening for you now, just back off, and we're going to move onto the floor. So come down onto your back, place your hands onto your hips, let your elbows rest just onto the floor, and let your feet be a little wider than hip distance apart. If you are on a yoga mat, place your feet right on the edges of the mat. Take your knees to touch, so everything in your hips and legs is just all nice and relaxed. Now, as you breathe in, belly will rise. I'm exaggerating a little bit. And as you breathe out, belly will fall. Breathe in, belly rise. Breathe out, belly fall. Try to keep your chest, your shoulders, your arms, everything relaxed. Just let the belly rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Good. 5 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Let the belly soften, let the body relax. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, letting it go. Last time, all the way in. This time, take the arms out to the side, just stretching the arms out. And as you breathe out, feel the whole body starting to soften, starting to relax. Bring your knees into chest, hug the knees in, and flatten the lower back. Rock gently side to side. We're going to go into our first yin posture. The whole time in yin, I want you to be belly breathing, and I'll coach you through that. And if you're used to some of these postures, you can go into your regular shape that you make. But for now, I want you to hug your knees with your right arm. Take your left arm out to the side, and then pull your knees over to the right. Keep your left arm all the way out to the side. And so you're looking towards your knees. And we're just going to hold there for 3 breaths. You stay there. I'm just going to time this to make sure I'm not overstretching one side. As you breathe in, belly will expand. As you breathe out, belly will draw back ever so slightly, not as much effort as before. Keep looking towards your knees. If you can't feel any kind of stretch anywhere in your body, feel free to straighten the right leg and have the left knee bent, okay? But that's just an option. So I'll go back. So option 1 is knees together, ankles together. And option 2 is right leg is straight or fairly straight and left knee comes over the top. It's going to be quite strong across the shoulder on the left arm. If that's the case, you can grab one of your rolled up towels. Remember I told you to have them on either side, and you can rest your arm up on top of the towel. But just see how your body feels. And now simply go into rest. You don't need to be actively moving the belly in and out. When you feel comfortable, you might even want to close your eyes. Feel the body and noticing as she's beginning to soften. If it's too much with this left knee, you've got a towel handy, you can slide it under the knee. The idea is to feel something. A lot of people in classes will say, am I supposed to be feeling it here? And I'm like, yes. If you can feel it, that's where you're supposed to be feeling it. Yin Yoga teaches us to tune in to our body and to just be present. So let's go on a little walk around the body, just noticing how the left fingers are feeling. Let's notice how the left shoulder is feeling across the top of the chest. What about down the left side of the body? Noticing across the leg and the hip, all the way to the knee. What about the left foot? Move your attention to the right leg. I wonder if you're gripping at all with your right leg? Can you feel your leg tense? If you can you soften it? Remember I said at the start, never push through pain, and never ever hold your breath in a yin posture either. Just allow that gentle movement. Good. Coming out nice and slowly now. I want you to bring your knees together if they're not already, and then very gently come back nice and slowly. You might even have noticed that rebound sensation that happens in a yin posture. Just bring your knees into chest, rock gently side to side. That rebound feeling is sometimes very uncomfortable, but over time, hopefully, you'll come to love it just as much as I do. Now we're going to go over onto the left side. So take your hand, your left hand, around the knees, right hand out to the side, palm facing down, and guide your knees all the way over to the left side. So now you're looking towards the left side, looking towards the knees, and allowing that gentle twist to take shape. I'm going to give moments of quiet now for you to be present with your body. If you'd like to go a little deeper, feel free to straighten the left leg slightly and position yourself. You might need to use a towel under the right knee or even a towel under the right arm, whatever works for you. And don't be surprised if you're a little different from one side to the other. Deeply belly breathing again for 3 breaths. Count them yourself. The deep belly breathing will guide you back into your own awareness. Now, in a moment, I'll ask you to come back onto your back with your knees into chest. Be aware of that rebound sensation. So bring your knees back to touch and then gently bring your knees towards your chest, flattening the lower back. And it might feel good to rock gently side to side, or you might prefer to be still. Keep breathing gently. Don't hold your breath at all. And then roll over onto your right side and come up into a seated position. So take your feet so that your soles of feet touch. And I'm placing a rolled up towel just on top. This position with your feet touching and your knees bent out to the side is called butterfly. Butterfly is one of the most nourishing positions we can do, and you'll find that in yin classes it features quite heavily. In this position, I want you to create that diamond shape. So you'll see that my feet are quite a long way away from my groin. So allow yourself to have a nice wide diamond shape. And I want you to pull the fleshy parts of the bottom, I know it seems weird, away and behind. It helps you to sit up a little higher. I'm going to grab my other rolled up towel as well, because I want a little bit of height here. What we're going to do, and I'll start the time, is we're going to gently begin the journey towards getting our forehead towards our feet. Roll the shoulders back and down, and I want you to just be hinging from the waist. This isn't an exercise to reach and become the hunchback and to reach like this to try and get where we want to go. Just relax your arms and allow your hips to create the space so that you can come down closer towards the stacked towels. If you find that your shoulders are up around your ears, or you're kind of reaching, or there's tension in the shoulders, I just want you to back off. So find whatever comfortable position works for you. For some people, you're going to be starting at about this position. That's going to be well enough. Where should you be feeling this? Pretty much anywhere in your legs and back, okay? So I feel it just kind of a very gentle stretch through, I guess, the outer thighs and a little bit around the lower back, but not much else. But when I start to remove the towels, it'll get a little bit more intense going up through the center of my back. But that's my body. I don't know what your body is going to experience, but here's the thing. Never push, never pull. Simply allow. So take a deep breath in with me. You might want to lift your gaze. And as you breathe out, suck your belly back towards your spine and then fold forward. I'm going to rest my head in my hand. Breathing deeply, belly expands. Breathing out, belly softens. Start to notice these sensations. I will quite often ask my students in class, is it pain or is it discomfort? And if you have to think about it, well, which one is it? It's not pain. It's just a sensation. It might not be pleasant. It might not be comfortable, but it's just a sensation. Pain is very, very different. Pain requires immediate attention. So breathe deeply now and start to become present with the sensations that are in your body. Can you drop in a little more? Can you relax your arms and shoulders? Can you allow yourself not to push too deeply? Just be supported by the towels. If you're not using towels, that's okay too. You can rest your head in your hands and place your elbows onto your lower legs. It's not a race. There's no competition. It's just allowing the body to create a shape that you can surrender into. Your aim here, and this aim might take 3 years to master if you do this every day, or it could take a lifetime, or you may never get there. But your aim is to get your forehead towards your feet. So, breathing deeply, we've got about 25 seconds to go. Softening the body. Good. Start to come out very, very slowly. Breathing deeply as you do. Watch for that rebound sensation that will often happen. I'm just simply straightening up my spine, walking my hands back, taking my hands behind, I'm going to move into windscreen wipers, just dropping my knees from side to side, nice and gentle as I get movement back into the hips. So we work through the hips a lot in yin, not because we're trying to make our lives feel a little unpleasant, although sometimes it can, but because we can hold a lot of tension in our hips. What I'd like you to do now is take your right leg out to the side and your left leg bent at 90 degrees in front. This is called deer pose. It can be very challenging. 90-degree angle. Oh, I don't like that. Wooden floors, hey? I'm going to place a towel under my foot because I don't like that the way that feels. Remember, comfort is queen in a yin class. Yes, it can feel unpleasant, but you want to make sure that you're comfortable in your unpleasantness, all right? So I've got my knee and ankle, left and right, parallel, yeah? And I've got a 90-degree angle on both sides. I'm going to square up a little bit and just find myself sitting as upright as I possibly can. This is not easy, you guys. So if you're feeling like, oh, my hip's not moving properly, I feel like I'm stuck, that's okay. That's the point. So what I'd like you to do now is place your hands wherever in front is comfortable. We're going to start to circle in a clockwise direction. Oh, as you lean forward, you'll feel it. And as you come back, it should release a little. Don't push through pain. Make sure your feet are both flexed out. They're not tucked under. Make sure they're flexed out, but everything's soft in the legs. Okay, go the other way, anti-clockwise. Just getting a little bit of movement in here. A lot of people say that they're not flexible enough to do yoga. And I say that is precisely why we do the yoga. So if you're finding that you're stiff, you're finding that this doesn't feel great, go clockwise again if you want to, or you can come to stillness. I'm just going to do 2 more rounds like this. All right, let's come into stillness now. Just trying to lift up out of our hips. We're not sinking in. Feel free to use your hands to hold you there. In yin, quite often we're working into the lower body, so the upper body is working quite hard. I'm going to stay here for another 30 seconds or so. If you want to push your balance, and I shouldn't say push, but if you want to work on your balance a little bit more, you can sit upright with your hands just kind of clasped together and not leaning on anything. Just another few seconds here. Good. Lean back and get some movement into your legs again. You might want to do windscreen wipers again. Now, we're going to keep that left leg in front and go into pigeon pose. You may have done this before. In yin, we call it swan, all right, and sleeping swan. Make sure you've got a rolled up towel on both sides, all right? Left leg pretty much stays where it was. Oh, my hair's coming out. And then what I want you to do is just send that right leg back a little ways. I've got this front leg, it's about parallel to the mat. So I'm going to draw that heel so that it's coming towards the groin, but it creates almost like a diagonal to the top of my mat, yeah? Do not tuck your toes under. Always keep that foot slightly at a flexed angle, okay? In this position, we're going to start to roll into pigeon pose. Now I'm just going to move this one away. So for me, my hips are quite fine coming into a deep split, okay? For you, you might need to put a rolled up towel under the left buttock just to hold you up a little more. And that right leg might be better if it's bent. We're going to stay here for about 3 minutes, if not more. So you want to make sure you're comfortable. You might be really pushing through your hands and shoulders. If that's the case, make sure your hands are under the shoulders, not out at an angle. You're going to get really tired doing that. If you prefer, you can come over towards the right side of the mat and come down onto your elbows. But again, elbows under the shoulder, not out in front, okay? It's too tiring for the body. So I'm going to straighten my right leg and I'm going to remove, so that was very comfortable. I'll keep that there. And I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit because for my body, it feels okay. But you might want to have your heel a little bit closer to the groin, all right? So let's just stay here. This is semi-sleeping swan. And I want you to not be dumping in through the shoulders, all right? So if you find that you are, rest your head in your hands like this so that you can just relax the upper back and shoulders. You might even prefer to come all the way down into full sleeping swan. So this is where you could use your other rolled up towel, or you could grab a pillow and you can just snuggle down, all right? Whatever you feel like. We've got about a minute and a half to remember to keep the right leg straight or bent if it's easier. I shouldn't really say easier if it's more available to do so. The body is going to present in different ways. You might have tension, you might have an injury you're rehabbing and working with. The way you walk might actually be exacerbating changes in muscles, tightness in one and then looseness in the other side. So we yoga so that we can start to become familiar with our body and know what to strengthen and know what to stretch. Just softening down now. Hopefully, this is about 3 minutes now. Hopefully the body is starting to release a little bit of tension. Use as many towels and pillows as you need, guys. Breathe deeply. Letting everything that's stored in our legs and our hips release, as is perfect timing. Slowly going to come out of this posture. Don't rush. Be aware of the rebound. Coming up onto your hands. Opening up, maybe even a little back bend. Feels so good. You know, you can hold these postures for up to about 7 or 8 minutes. Put some music on, relax, get into it if you like some of these. Roll back onto your left hip. Swing that right leg over the top. Windscreen wipers again. Get some movement back into the legs. Oh, feels so good. Feels so good. All right, when you're ready, I'm just going to switch around. I'm going to set up for the other side. You guys don't have to switch. I just want you to be able to see better. All right. Setting up for deer pose on the other side. Let's sort it out with my leg. Take your time. You don't have to rush into it. Setting you up though, right leg in front. You're looking towards your right leg. Flexed foot slightly, bent at 90 degrees, and then your left leg out to the side, bent at 90 degrees. Toes are pointing outwards, okay? Both feet are flexed. Coming up, and we'll start to just circle anti-clockwise. You won't get much movement at all, so you don't need to push it. And and clockwise. And come into stillness now. Lifting up and out of your hips. If you want to balance, you can. Feel free to roll a little bit more if you want to push the edges a little and see what movement you can get. And I want you just to notice which side felt more available than the other. When we work in a yin practice, it's all about slowing down. It's about allowing, not rushing, not forcing. Good. And let's move into that pigeon pose or swan. Shifting the left leg behind this time. Getting yourself ready. Pull that right leg a little closer, creating a little bit more of a diagonal towards the right corner of your mat. And if you do want to place the towel under the right buttock just to keep you upright, that's cool. And keeping the left knee tucked under and straight if that feels good for your body. If it doesn't feel good, opening up that hip and staying right here. We've got about 4 minutes, all right? So find that comfortable place that you want to settle into. And I'll see you on the other side. Don't forget you can use towels, pillows. You can bend the legs. You can tuck the back knee under even more if you like. Whatever feels good. It's interesting, just watching what the thoughts are that come in and come out. Become the observer of your mind and your body. Breathe deeply, let the belly push onto your legs. Let the belly soften as you surrender in to the posture more and more. About a minute to go. You need to readjust. Can you soften anywhere? Are you gripping your muscles? Sometimes at this point of a posture, you might find your body screaming at you. But if you just choose to breathe one more breath with intention, you may find that all of the noise stops and you can surrender even more. On your next in-breath, prepare, and as you breathe out, rise. Come out nice and slowly. Roll onto your right leg and buttock. Wrap the left around. Get some movement back in. Windscreen wiper the legs. That should feel like something. All right, just cross the legs, right over left, bow forward. And then cross left over right, bow forward. Beautiful. Let's make our way down onto the mat. And I want you to have your rolled up towels rolled. So let's just reset before we make our way onto our tummies. Okay. This is one of my favorite postures for helping to open up through the chest. Sorry, doggy. All right, onto your tum. Just making sure my timer is on. All right. I want you to reach your left arm out to the side and have your right arm bent with your hand on the floor. With your legs together, roll over onto your left side. So I'll just show you, it might be easier if I do the opposite, just for this one. You're just going to roll onto your side like this. So I'll go back onto my left side. Legs are stacked. Your left arm is outstretched, palm facing down. And your hand is in perfect alignment with your shoulder. So it's not down, it's right in alignment with your shoulder. Okay? This will start to open up through the left front of the shoulder. So make sure your head is on the mat. If it's too strong, walk your hand towards your body. If you want to go a little deeper, you can bend the right leg and place the foot on the floor. So you're opening up your hips, you're moving backwards. If you find that your knee's kind of stuck like this somehow, or it's bending forward, you've got to open that knee all the way up, place the foot onto the floor. Just makes it a little deeper. It might not be available for you at this time, but it's an option. You might enjoy this one. I quite enjoy this one. I love the feeling of that stretch across the front of my shoulder. And I love that balance that it feels like in my leg. So my knee is really pushing back behind me. Breathing nice and deeply. I'm even rocking a little bit with each breath in and out. Softening. Enjoying that feeling of opening up through the shoulder, through the chest. I'm going to slide out of this one. So take the legs back to touch and then roll onto your belly. Hang out there for a moment. Sorry, dog. And we're going to go straight onto the other side. So reaching the right arm out, turning the head over so the right cheek is on the mat, and then rolling over, stacking the legs onto the right. So I like to hang out here for a moment before I bend the top leg, just to see what's going on. It won't always be exactly the same on each side. Bending that top leg if it feels okay. And then just opening up that stretch. Left knee pointing towards the ceiling or behind you. Breathing deeply with the belly. Being present with your thoughts. Just let them float by. If they're neutral or if they are negative, just let them float. If they're good thoughts, they make you happy, feel free to follow them. And rolling back, stacking those legs, coming back onto your tummy. Let's just move into a very gentle sphinx here, which is a slight back bend. Take your elbows in front, so not directly under your shoulders, palms facing down. I want you to relax the glute muscles, the buttock muscles. Draw your shoulders down away from the ears. And then turn the head slightly to the left and right, just unlocking the neck. And then very gently, when your head is back to center, start to draw the elbows a little closer to the body, lifting up into a very gentle back bend. See how that feels. If there's any pinching, just slide your elbows forward, relax the buttock muscles. Very good. Come down. Roll over onto your back and make sure you've got your rolled up towels or pillows. You might need pillows at this point for this last one. It's our last posture before we go into Shavasana. So remember I said butterfly is a posture that we use a lot in yin. So with your feet, soles of feet touching, and take your rolled up towels under the upper thighs. Rolling down onto your back and just readjusting so that they're just, those towels are supporting the knees and the upper legs. You might not need them. You can move them away if you want to have a deeper butterfly experience. This is called reclining bound angle. You can place your hands onto your hips. You can take your arms out into goalposts where your elbows are bent at about 90 degrees. You can take your hands behind your head if that feels really nice for you, but make sure your head is pointing directly up and not to one side. So once you get situated, you won't be looking at the screen anymore. For the next 5 minutes, we'll be laying like this. And so you want to make sure that if there's any tension, you've got those towels that you can put under your knees just to allow a deeper sense of support and relaxation. Breathe deeply now, focusing on the belly, rising gently, and then releasing with the out breath. Allowing the body to soften, allowing the mind to slow down. Just letting all tension release from the body now with the breath. Using the towels or a pillow under your knees if you need. We'll start to come out of this posture now, nice and slowly, extending the legs out, one at a time or both together, whatever works for your body. And just rock your legs from side to side. You might like to put a towel under each knee. As we move into Shavasana, let the feet be a little wider than hip distance apart. You might like to pull a blanket over you. Palms facing up and your hands a little bit away from your body. Roll the shoulders down. Just take a moment to get situated. Shavasana is a very important part of your practice. This is where we integrate your practice, and it's not one to be rushed. Simply find a still, restful position with the eyes closed, and allow the body to completely settle. I'll bring you back with the sound of my voice when it's time to re-emerge. A gentle but deeper breath in, gently starting to move fingers and toes. With the eyes staying closed, roll onto your right side, just like you'd roll over in bed. And allow that right arm to be tucked down in front of you so that you're putting a little pressure into the right arm, into the armpit. And from here in this side lying place on the right, start to gently open the eyes as you come back into the present moment. And then gently coming back up to a seated position, just like how we started the class. Easy pose, whatever works for your body. Roll those palms up or down. And this time bow the head. Breathing just through the nose as we come to the end of our practice. If it's comfortable and it feels right to do so, place the hands into Anjali Mudra, which is prayer position, the thumbs at the sternum, bowing the head. Take a moment to find one thing that you're grateful for today And as you bring this into the front of mind, let the attitude of gratitude wash over you. I always close my practice with a prayer of thanks. Feel free to join me, or you can sit in agreement, moving the hands so the thumbs touch the forehead, giving thanks for purity of thought. Moving the thumbs to touch the lips, giving thanks for purity of speech. Moving the thumbs to touch the heart space, giving thanks for purity of heart that comes through finding stillness. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.